liberty. And tonight we're going to continue our topic of 5 wishes. And did anybody need another copy? Great. Yeah, you'll raise your hand, someone will pass them out. Also, because my nickname is Good Time Bob, I brought our very own Do Not Resuscitate orders. So I told you last time I would bring them if someone could pass them out. Thank you. Just one for each person. I went on the website for the Florida Department of Health, and indeed, it says that they've changed their requirements. The Do Not Resuscitate order no longer has to be on that large sheet of paper, but it has to be still yellow. And it says right on there, in order to be legally valid, this form must be printed on yellow paper. Prior to being completed, EMS and medical personnel are only required to honor the form if it is printed on yellow paper. So someone must have stock in yellow paper somewhere. Oh, shows up on the white refrigerator. I see that the treasurer just came in. Are we supposed to take an offering? Oh, we already, okay, well. Okay. I saw him come in with the offering plate. I thought, oh, maybe I should stop. So last week we talked about, or 2 weeks ago, we talked about wish number 1. We talked about designating someone that would be your spokesperson, someone that would speak for you in the event that you are unable to speak for yourself. And we also talked about having that conversation with family. And as we were approaching Thanksgiving, we talked about in Colossians chapter 4, verse 6, where it says, let your conversations be always full of grace, seasoned with salt, so that you may know how to answer everyone. Filled with grace, so that people feel safe, and seasoned with salt, that is the truth. So our goal was that as we went into the Thanksgiving holidays and we were going to be talking with family, that we would make people feel safe, but that we would be truthful as we have what we call this difficult conversations. And I challenged you to start having that conversation, because like so many, when you fill out your durable power of attorney and your healthcare surrogate and all of that, and the lawyer gives it to you in a nice packet and tells you, now these are very important documents, and they are. Put them away someplace safe, and you do, and no one knows where they are. And when they're needed, they can't find them. This 5 wishes, as you complete it, we want to encourage you to share it. Make copies, give it to your kids, give it to your grandkids, give it to your neighbors. Share it with anybody and everybody. Share your care choices. This is your power. So I challenged you to be full of grace and with that salt of truthfulness to start that conversation. How many of us started that conversation? Want to tell us about it? Wait, just one moment. Please stand.
We started with our daughters, and the one that I thought would be resistant wasn't at all. She was glad that we were doing it. And I said, do you need to have one too? She says, yep, give me one, I'll do it, and I'll put it on my refrigerator, because she lives by herself. And I was supposed to take them all down Thanksgiving, and I forgot, but I had opportunity afterward to talk with my one brother who's very ill and just returned to California, and he took one with him and talked with my other brother in California, and he said, send me some. So it was well received.
Very good. Anyone else?
We talked to our doctor today, Mom's doctor, Dr. Roque, and he asked if we could bring the 3 wishes and your card.
Okay. He might be, oh, wonderful. Well, we'll give you both. Anyone else? It's important conversations, and they're not always as well received. I'm glad that your conversations were well received. Yes?
We actually
And how did she respond?
Well, she's in the hospital right now. So, she was kind of quiet and she forgot about it.
Okay. It's, yes, sir.
We started this process many years ago. We started doing this with our kids.
Uh-huh. And when they need to know, hopefully they can find it.
Well, we've given them instructions and information on our safety deposit box, home keys on different things. If something happens, they know.
Very good. But so oftentimes we put those things in the safe deposit box and no one knows how to get into it. And the law won't let anyone get into it until after you're gone. And then they find it and say, oh, that's what fill in the blank wanted. And so hopefully by encouraging everyone to take this 5 booklets and to share with your family and your loved ones, we're demystifying a little bit about what your wishes are. And the first wish that we talked about before was to identify that person who's over the age of, how old? 18. That will be your spokesperson. Did you have a comment?
Well, I was going to say what we did is that my wife retired from the state of Michigan, and one of her benefits was a reduced group rate for legal assistance. So we worked with his 2 attorneys and put together all of our legal documents. Even though we had had a will from years ago, so many things have changed.
Right.
So we went ahead and did all the, I think we called it a living trust, or we created a trust and a living will, and then we have 2 daughters, and we made it known to them, plus my sister, and I think her sister, and then I think we had to file copies with the hospital here, Waterman, and then also our hospital back in Michigan, and our doctor.
Yeah.
So what our last wishes.
Okay, and that's important to do, and that key point of being able to share it with people. And that's what this tool does. It doesn't replace those legal documents, but this is a legal document once you sign it and it's witnessed in the state of Florida. And it does express not only your wishes about who's going to speak for you, because I know I have so many people that love me, everybody's going to want to speak for me. Ruth's just shaking her head. So it's important that you put down who has the right to speak for you. And then tonight, if we can open up our booklet to number 2, wish number 2. Wish number 2 serves as a living will. It doesn't necessarily replace your living will, but if you don't have one, this will serve as your living will. The first thing that it talks about is pain management. What you should keep in mind as my caregiver. So you're writing this booklet is designed, you've already designated who's your caregiver, who that person is that's going to speak for you. Now you're going to tell them specifically. Yes, you need more? Anybody else need? How many do you need? Okay. So now when we get to wish 2, we start addressing that caregiver. You start telling them what it is you wish. So the first part of wish 2 is about your pain and pain management. I do not want to be in pain. Now, if you disagree with that, this is where you don't cross out on rule 2 or wish 2. The lines that are underneath in the middle of the page, that's where you can write in, no, I want to be in pain, if that's your wish. Okay? Most of this, as you know, we went through, you can cross out what you don't want. On this one, they don't want you to cross out on wish 2, but just add any changes on those lines that are provided in the middle of the page. I want my doctor to give me enough medicine to relieve my pain, even if that means that I will be drowsy or sleep more than I would otherwise. So that's an important thing, because maybe you want to stay alert. It's more important for you to stay alert and than to be completely pain-free. So you would make that change on those lines below. I remember when my mother was very ill, she was given pain medication by her oncologist. She took it for a couple of days and she said, I don't want to be drowsy. I want to be awake. And she managed her pain for the rest of her life with Advil. She wanted to be alert. So she was. But that was her choice. And you have that choice. And so this tells your caregiver what you want. I do not want anything done or omitted by my doctors or nurses with the intention of taking my life. And the third bullet, I want to be offered food and fluids by mouth and be kept clean and warm. Basic care of what you would want, and that time comes when you can't speak for yourself. I had a very good friend who passed away about a month ago, and he didn't want anything done or omitted that would hasten his life or prolong it. He just wanted to die, as he called it, a natural death. Somebody had a question?
Yeah, just what you were just talking about. I didn't really understand that sentence, what that means.
Which one?
I do not want anything done or omitted by my doctor with the intention of taking my life. What does that mean?
That you don't want to be given medication that would hasten your death. You don't want to have anything that they would omit from your care, and I don't know what that is because I'm not a doctor and there are so many things. You're just basically saying, I want to die a natural death. I want to be pain-free, I want to be warm, I want to be clean, and I want to die a natural death. So wish 2 is very specific so that the caregiver knows, because the time may come, and I'm sure everyone in this room has experienced it with a close friend or a family member, when the time comes and the doctor comes in and says, do you want us to put them on a machine? And they go, I don't know. That's mostly what happens. And so the laws kick in that say they have to do everything to prolong your life. So this gives that person that you've designated to be your spokesperson a gift. They're not making a decision. You've made the decision and you've communicated it. That's why, again, we talk about sharing this, to communicate it. The next part talks about life support treatment. Life support treatment means any medical procedure, device, or medication to keep me alive. Life support treatment includes medical devices put in me to help me breathe, food and water supplied by a medical device such as tube feeding, cardiopulmonary resuscitation, CPR, major surgery, blood transfusions, dialysis, antibiotics, and anything else meant to keep me alive. If I wish to limit the meaning of life support treatment because of my religious or personal beliefs, I write this limitation in the space below. I do this to make very clear what I want and under what conditions. So if you happen to believe that you want to get blood transfusions, even at the end stage of your life, they've provided the space for you to make a note of that. Again, this is written to that person that's going to make the decision. It's the gift you're giving them, because they're going to have to make all kinds of decisions. And when they have this in front of them to know what your wishes were, it really helps to make the decision so much easier for them at that time. The 5 Wishes booklet again, is not a do not resuscitate order. I do not like that term. I like a natural death term. But this is for the state of Florida. And it has to be signed by your doctor. And your doctor should make a copy and put it in the file, in your medical file, or scan it if they're doing electronic files. It should be kept with your 5 wishes, so that anybody who needs it, EMT, emergency medical room doctor. I know at my house, my mother-in-law, I think I told you, went to the hospital a few months ago by ambulance, and as they strapped her in the gurney, my wife took her 5 wishes folder and stuck it on the gurney. It went with her because those are her wishes. Kept it in a folder, it was ready to go. I said, do the same thing with mine. So 5 wishes does not replace this document in the state of Florida. So if you wish to have a do not resuscitate order, you need this document printed on yellow, and the bottom half of it actually is signed by your doctor as well, and you cut that off and keep it in your wallet or something. But this main piece is what anybody would need, any EMT or anything like that. Any questions about what we've talked about so far? Yes?
In the second part, what should be mind as caregiver? Do you highlight that or check that off if you do or you don't want it?
No. If you want it, you just leave it as it is. If you want to modify it or change it, just see where the lines are in the middle of the page. You can make a note in there. In your own handwriting, make a note that you do want this. But if you are happy with that statement, just leave it as it is.
What if you just put yes or no, that's the easy part?
If you think that's going to help the person that you've designated, you can do that. Yeah, this is your document. This document, the 5 Wishes booklet, is designed to pass all the tests of what's legal. But you can certainly modify it. That's why you can cross off what you don't want to have it apply, or you can add things at the bottom, because it is designed to be your wishes. Now, I don't know how Carolyn is filling out her 5 Wishes booklet, but I suspect she doesn't want to switch booklets with me. Okay? Because mine's very customized. I remember I got 42 songs at my funeral. None of you are coming, right? But it's customized. It's personal. Tom?
This might be a silly question, but is that why you're saying do more than one, give it to more than one person? So if the time comes when she doesn't agree with something I wrote, she can't say, oh no, I don't have one. That's why I said it's a silly question.
No, because, for example, if you make a copy and give it to Pastor Joshua, and, okay, something happens and Carolyn is confused or she's not sure, and he has a copy, he can bring comfort to her and minister to her and show her what it is.
Forget about being confused or unsure. I don't want to do this. I don't agree with what he wrote here, so I'm going to hide this.
Then if it doesn't exist, it doesn't exist.
He wants to die before me.
Tom, if it doesn't exist, it doesn't exist. I mean, that's all. But my reason for saying share it with a lot of people is not because we're trying to circumvent and make sure she does what you want. But it is really just so really that people can say, well, remember, Tom said this, remember that booklet, and help, because it's still a difficult time. It's still a difficult time. The 5 Wishes booklet is a gift, but it's not a magic wand. It doesn't make it easy. Okay, it doesn't make it easy, but it makes it easier, and it also helps when other people, so there's not a conflict. Well, I don't know, Dad would never want this done. Oh yes, he would definitely want it done. Well, now we know. Okay? And so that's the reason I say share it with more than one person, not to push Carolyn into a box or into a corner. Yes? That's wish number one. That's your healthcare surrogate. Yeah, in the state of Florida, it is. It is recognized as long as that person is over 18. Wish one. Yes?
Maybe you explained this last week when we were here last week. And I know what we've done, and sort of know what we've done legally, but I guess, like, for example, this form here, and what we're talking about in wish two, at what point do we do this? Because, you know, like, I've had 2 heart attacks, and if I have one tomorrow, I want to do everything possible to keep me alive. So, at what point do you?
You still have this because you want to be alive.
Because when you can't talk for yourself, someone else will be able to talk to you. Your
Then-
wife. When you cannot talk for yourself, say your heart attack and you're down and you're like out and they're doing CPR. Now comes your wife that says, you really didn't want that. But on this page, we want to try it first. It's what's we're going into next. We want to try. We're going to intubate him. We're going to give him CPR. We're going to make heart attack better first. And then if it doesn't work, that's what the next page is for.
Yeah, that's where you write down. So it's not, I think everyone should have one, regardless of their health or their age. I mean, I'm young and strong and healthy, and I have one. Okay, so I'm strong and healthy, but I have one. So I think everyone, Trevor has a young family and a wife, he should have one, and he's a young guy. 5 wishes completed. No, no. Yeah, because
He is gone. What chance they blew it?
unless you do not want to be resuscitated. Okay? It's an individual decision. The 5 wishes helps to guide us through making those decisions. Now, you can say in your 5 wishes booklet that you do not want to be resuscitated. In the state of Florida, they still want this form. That's why I provide it. But if you don't want a do not resuscitate order, don't fill it out. Destroy it, throw it away. Okay? But your wife is going to need to know that you want to be incubated, you want to have everything made possible to survive, because you have already survived twice, so why not 3 times? You know. Okay. Any other questions or comments? Okay. Let's go on to wish 3. Oh, we haven't finished with wish 2. Okay, when you look on the next page on wish 2, it's important to read this carefully. And again, it's talking about very specific things. When you are close to death, if my doctors and another healthcare professional both decide. So what you're saying to that person that is going to be your spokesperson, you're going to say, they have to have a doctor and another healthcare professional. 2 people confirm what they're trying to say. Again, that person that you've designated to speak for you, if the doctor comes in and says, this is what I think, and that person looks at this and says, okay, I need one other person to confirm that. I want a second opinion. That's okay. You're requesting it. Again, your wish. You can modify that with the lines that are below. But again, it says, if my doctor and another healthcare professional both decide that I am likely to die within a short period of time and life support treatment would only delay the moment of my death, and then you have 3 options for you to choose. You want to have life support? You want to delay that moment of death? I do not want life support treatment. If it has been started, I want it stopped. I want to have life support treatment if my doctor believes it could help. But I want my doctor to stop giving me life support treatment if it is not helping my health condition or symptoms. Discuss this with your primary care doctor. Do you know if you are on Medicare, they can actually bill a code that they've discussed these issues with you? Because Medicare wants everyone to have these conversations with their doctor. So have this conversation about when you are close to death. Too many times during the time that I worked as a chaplain over here at the hospital, called in people of all ages, young, middle-aged, older, elderly, that were close to death, and decisions had to be made, and the family did not know what to do. They're grieving, they're confused, they're upset. That's why we really push for this, and why I call it a gift. Right below that, again, talking about another condition, in a coma and not expected to wake up or recover. Okay, what is it that you want to have done? And again, I want to say here, just as I said last week, once you put this down on this form, it's not forever. You can tear it up, shred it, and fill out another one and get someone to witness your signature. It's cheaper and it's easy to do. So I know that Ruth and I and her mom, we look at ours every few months to make sure that it's still everything we want. And on Trevor, I add a few more songs. Yes. Yep, and you write here, I want to have life support treatment if my doctor believes it could help, but I want my doctor to stop giving me life support treatment if it is not helping with my health condition or symptoms. So if you're, and you can write that right down there, that until family arrives, you know, and so that if you've got family that you want to come to be able to say goodbye, you write that, and then the person who's speaking for you says, they want to be on life support. It's going to be temporary until the family all arrives, and then we will remove because it's not helping the condition. The same thing with a coma, your choice. Permanent and severe brain damage and not expected to recover. Again, the same thing. It is really about your choice. That's the beauty of this. You get to say what you want. And like we talked about last week, you want to choose someone that is going to follow your wishes. There's no guarantee. They're not obligated to, but it's a help. And if you start with someone who says, I'm not going to do it because fill in the blank. I love you too much. I don't love you enough, whatever. Then choose someone else that will follow your wishes. Again, the last thing is talking about any other condition. If there is another condition under which I do not wish to have life support treatment, I describe it below. In this condition, I believe that the cost and burdens of life support, et cetera, et cetera. Again, anything else, you get to add to that. And it could be any and all conditions where my physician and one other healthcare professional do not think I am going to recover. Yes?
Fill this out, sign it, and can you add something on here after that?
The technical answer is no. especially if you've made copies and distributed it to people. You need to start over completely, change it, have it re-signed, redistribute it to people, because just updating it yourself and you've given other people copies, they might not have those last-minute instructions. And again, look at this as kind of a letter or a communication tool to let your loved ones know. Yes, you're letting the person know that you have designated as your spokesperson, but you're also letting everyone else in the family know what your wishes were, so that there's no, or less likely, a contention about, well, mom should have done this or dad should have done that. No, this is what mom or dad wanted, and that's what I'm doing. So it helps to put it more than just having the conversation. Pastor Trevor, did you have a question? No. Any questions about wish 2? Okay, what's going to start this week on wish 3? Because now when we get into wish 3 and 4, we're really talking about what makes this document that you're looking at so unique. Because now we're going to really get down and talk about your comfort and those end-of-life situations, how you want to be treated for comfort. Pain management. I do not want to be in pain. I want my doctor to give me enough medicine to relieve my pain, even if that means I will be drowsy or sleep more than I would otherwise. If I show signs of depression, nausea, shortness of breath, or hallucinations, I want my caregivers to do whatever they can to help me. I wish to have a cool, moist cloth put on my head if I have a fever. That's the level of support that you're letting people know that, yes, you want a cool, moist cloth put on your head. Because trust me, caregivers who are making life and death decisions sometimes don't think about that. And so if it's written down and they've got this booklet out and they're looking at it, say, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Let me do that. I want my lips and mouth kept moist to stop dryness. I know in my own family, when people have been at the end of life, that the lips get dry, and what did I do? I tell the nurse, their lips are dry. Don't you think you should put something on it? Because I'm not thinking, I can do that. I'm a caregiver, I'm here. That doesn't need a trained nurse to do that. So this is getting down to some real practical things that caregiver, that person that is going to be speaking for you, is going to know that you want. I wish to have warm baths often. I wish to be kept fresh and clean at all times. Now, the next one is my all-time favorite. I've highlighted it and I've put stars by it because I don't want Ruth to forget this. I wish to be massaged with warm oils. And I crossed off as often as possible and I wrote at all times. Now, if you're like some people that don't want to be touched, you're going to cross that off because you don't want someone at the end stage of life when you're struggling to come in and start touching you and massaging you. And I find it hard to believe, but there are actually people that don't like that. So if you're one of them, cross it off. I wish to have my favorite music played when possible until my time of death. Again, you're telling them what you want, what's going to bring comfort to you. Ruth, what kind of music do I want played? Be sure to get my book out. It says Christmas music. I play Christmas music in my car in July, right? And Ruth goes, that's Christmas music. I said, yep. So that's going to bring comfort to me. So that's something I want. So put down what you want. I wish to have personal care like shaving, nail clipping, hair brushing, and teeth brushing as long as they do not cause me pain or discomfort. Again, it's about you. Yes, sir.
This one here about the personal care of shaving and brushing teeth, etc. Until I went through the many months with my mother's dying process and learned many things, of course. But you know, and I'm trying to say this without getting emotional, because even though this happened in 95,
Yes, absolutely.
but I remember a couple weeks before she passed, she was dying of colon cancer. A couple weeks before that, she had a stroke. And she not only could not converse very well, but she had difficulty doing almost anything. But somehow she managed to tell me that she wanted some lipstick to put on. Never in my life have I ever put lipstick on anybody, let alone my mom, you know?
Yeah.
And honest, putting that lipstick on my mom was like a gift from God. It was so precious to know that I could do something so loving for her. And see, they talk about here, is that we take a lot of these things for granted, and sometimes in our stress, that we forget about.
Yeah.
But, oh my gosh, I think of all the little things that she wanted done, and I thought, wow, I'm blessed to be able to do these things. It's just my small payback to all the years that my mother had and for me.
And did you hear what he said? It was a gift from God. You know, and that's what this is. This is a gift to your loved ones, because wow, what if you had pulled out a 5 wishes and it said, put lipstick on me? You know, then you would have done it sooner. You know, so that's the power that there is in this, because again, we're talking about when you cannot communicate for yourself, that you're writing a letter to someone who's at an emotionally difficult time. And for some people, I would say, probably the most emotional, difficult time of their life. And she was able to get through to you and communicate that lipstick. And like you said, it was such a gift. You know, so we all have the power to give that gift to our loved ones.
But also, I was thinking, you know, it was easy for me because I had a closeness with her all my life. And not everybody does, of course.
Right.
But you see, something like this, Dr. Or I'm thinking about it, can actually help an individual become closer that maybe wasn't in the past.
Yes, good point.
Doing these little simple tasks,
Right.
but powerful.
Yes. Yeah. It could help someone that maybe there's a break in a relationship somewhere, and then they come in and they're trying to mend it and they don't know how. And like you said, you knew your mom really appreciated that lipstick. You just know.
Even though they sometimes can't communicate, I think knowing that their loved one is doing something that they wish for gives them comfort during this time.
Yep.
Because many times they can't communicate, but they do know what's going on.
Right. And if they've written it down, if they've put that level of care, and that's the beauty of this instrument, is that it does give you that opportunity to emphasize that. You know, I joke, but there really is no doubt that I want to be massaged with warm oils all the time. Nothing wrong with that. Okay, moving on. I wish to have religious readings and well-loved poems read aloud when I am near death. You know, if you don't want that, cross it off. If you have a favorite book you want read, that's where you can insert it. This is about you thinking about what is going to bring comfort to you in those final moments. And allow a loved one to minister that comfort to you. And as we just heard, it's a gift to that person when they can do that. And sometimes it can even bridge and mend a broken relationship. I want us to think about it. We're going to get together again next Wednesday, finish up with 3 and 4. Well, I don't know if we'll finish with 4, but definitely we will finish with 3 and get on to wish 4. I want to encourage you again to keep talking to family and loved ones and your doctors and let them know what you're thinking and what you're doing. And we've got more copies of the 5 Wishes booklet, so if you need more copies, let me know. Be happy to give it to you. If you change your mind or you talk to a family member and they say, oh, I want one. I want to be able to do that. I know where I can get one for you.